I'm J.R. Church. Happy New Year. Today and tomorrow and through the weekend, these are exciting days. People are getting ready to say goodbye. Praise the Lord. To 2009 and hello 2010. I want to talk to you today about the calendar. Since we've approached the new year, I want to talk to you about the difference between the Jewish calendar and our calendar. Now, some of you may have heard this before, but most of you probably have not, so I want to bring you up to speed on the difference between the Jewish calendar and our calendar. You know, this year is the year 5750 in the Jewish calendar. Well, it is our year 2010, at least will be come New Year's Day, at the stroke of midnight, and the ball comes down in New York City. But there's 240 years difference between the two calendars. Why doesn't the Jewish calendar say it's the year 6010? It should, don't you think? So why 5770? Well, let me tell you that not only was the Jewish calendar 240 years off, but if you go all the way back to the creation of Adam, it's actually 243 years off, believe it or not. Bishop Ussher, for example, in 1658, published a book called The Annals of the World. And in it, he said that our calendar, our Roman calendar, Julian calendar, was off. It was off by 4 years. So he said Jesus was born in 4 BC and Adam was created in 4004 BC. Well, when we got to the year AD 1, the Jewish calendar supposedly said it was the year 3760. Well, that means then that even though we have 4,004 years, they only have 4,000 years. Actually, our calendar is 4,003 years and 3 months off. So don't forget that. For you see, the year 4004 BC was not a full year. It was only 3 months long. And of course, the Jewish calendar, the Jewish New Year, starts with the new moon of September, and that was the first day of creation. In fact, they call Rosh Hashanah, the Feast of Trumpets, on the new moon of September, or early October, the birthday of the world. So the Jews don't count that 4th year, and so since it was only 3 months long, so they claim that their calendar is 243 years. Well, let's find out where they lost the 3 years. That is, if we can. First of all, in the Jewish calendar, which, by the way, they date from creation. From creation. And there's a little acronym called AM that stands for the Latin Anno Mundi, meaning from creation. So this year in the Jewish calendar, 5770, is supposed to be 5770 AM. That is, from creation. I got news for you, though. They haven't been using that calendar all these centuries. They've only been using the Jewish calendar since the year 1517. Up until then, they used the Greek calendar called the Minyan Shtarot. And that's because Alexander the Great, came into Jerusalem and was going to conquer the city. But the high priest put on his Sabbath best, fancy robes, got all of the priesthood in their white robes, and they came out and welcomed Alexander the Great into the city. Well, Alexander had seen this high priest in a dream. And God had told him, when you see this man, you take good care of him because he likes you. Or words to that effect. And so when Alexander saw the high priest, the very man he had seen in his dream, he got off his horse and came over and knelt down and bowed before the high priest of Jerusalem. So they went into the city, and Alexander offered a sacrifice, and the high priest said, "We're welcoming you into our city." And he said, well, thank you. I'll tell you what, I'm going to take over the government of this city and of this country. And he said, since you've been so nice to me and haven't put up a fight, I'm going to exempt you from paying taxes for 7 years. Of course, after that, you'll have to pay taxes. The high priest said, thank you, sir. We appreciate that. Anything we can do to help you, you're chosen of God. Well, Alexander said, okay, you could put up a statue of me in the temple. Well, the high priest said, that wouldn't sit too well with the people. But I'll tell you what we'll do, if it's okay with you. We will name all of the boy babies born to the priesthood over the next several years. We'll name them all Alexander. Alexander the Great thought, okay, that sounds good to me. So Alexander said, what else could you do for me? Well, said the high priest, when you establish your kingdom, the Greek kingdom, we will change the calendar to follow the Greek calendar. And they called it the Minyan Shterot. And so in 1 Maccabees chapter 1 verse 10, when this apocryphal book, that used to be with the apocrypha between Malachi and Matthew, when this chapter 1 was